Hello students, welcome to your English literature class. Today we will read the poem The Louse and the Mosquito. It is a delightful poem by Vikram Seth. Born on June 20, 1952 in Kolkata, is an Indian poet and novelist. He has received several awards such as Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy Award, Pravasi Bharatiya Samman and many more. This poem is from the Beastly Tales from Here and There. It is a bunch of humorous animal tales collected from India, China, Ukraine, and Greece and rendered into verse. The poem may seem familiar to you as a tale from the Panchatantra. The poem is very rhythmical, following the simple rhyming pattern of AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, and so on. Towards the end, two such rhyming lines, however, are set apart by indenting the second line. The poem is a ballad. Ballad is a narrative poem, often of folk origin, that tells some story. Let us read the poem. Literary devices used in the poem are personification and simile. That is in the second stanza, eighth line of second stanza, smooth as banks of Ganges silt. This is smooth as banks of. This is simile. So the stanza 1 says that in the king's bed there was the family of Creep. The Creep is the name of the louse. They were living there for 3 decades. Decade is the period of 10 years, means they were living there for 30 years. And each and every night they would go to the king who used to be sleeping there in the bed, and they would go to the king, and they would nip, and they would cut, they would sting him, and would sip his blood. And they were doing this by having a signal first from Creep. The Creep would give them a signal that the king has fast asleep now, and they would get ready to go to him and sting him and nip and sip his blood. They would carefully and quietly go to the king, and whole of the family, sons and grandsons, sisters, brothers, great granddaughters, and everyone in the family would go to sting the king and uh, sip the blood. And this way they were living their life. They were pursuing their life this way, and nobody was there to disturb them. And this way they were becoming fat, smooth, and white by drinking the blood of the king. So the stanza 2 goes like this. One day a mosquito flew through the window. As he drew closer to the velvet bed, canopied with gold, he said, "Lovely, just the place for me. Ah, what perfume! Let me see. Rose? No, no, jasmine. And the quilt, smooth as white of Ganges silt. Let me test the bed springs now." So he jumped up and somehow, in a parabolic leap, landed not too far from Creep. So one day what happened? One day a mosquito entered the room through the window of the king's room as he drew closer to the velvet bed. And when he came near to the velvet bed of the king, it was covered with, canopied means covered with gold, and he was so happy to see it. He just said, "Lovely, it was very lovely, just a place for me, that this is the place meant for me only. Oh, it's a very, very, very good perfume. And let me see whether it is whether it is rose or jasmine." So he says to himself, "No, no, it's jasmine." And now he inquires about the quilt. He says it's so very smooth. Here's the speech used is simile, and the quilt smooth as banks of Ganges silt. It's a simile. Let me test the bed springs now. So he jumped up and now he started inquiring and started testing each and everything over there in the room. So in this way, when he was just testing each and everything, he jumped up and somehow in a parabolic leap, means a long jumped, forming a curve. And and when he was jumping to test each and everything in the room, he just landed there where the creep was sitting over there. And he, in front of creep, landed there in front of creep. Now let's move on to stanza 3. Sir Mosquito, flap your wings, leave at once, this bed's the king's. Who may you be, Lady Louse? I am the guardian of this house. How's this quilt? It's mine, said Creep. There's no place for you, Sir Leap. Let me sleep here for one night, and I'll catch the morning flight. Thus the sad mosquito pleaded, and at last his prayers were heeded. For the tender-hearted Creep could not bear to watch him weep. So when he just uh, took a long jump, forming a curve, and he landed up near Creep. So Creep said to him, Sir Mosquito, flap your wings. Oh Mosquito, leave this place at once. And this is the king's bed, and this is mine. Who may you be, Lady Louse? I am the guardian of the house. This quilt is mine. And she says that this quilt is mine. This is my house. There's no place for you. So leave at once. And then this clever mosquito started pleading that please let me live here over for one night, and I'll catch the morning flight. I'll leave the place in the morning, and started begging for it. And at last his prayers were listened to, were accepted, and the soft-hearted Creep allowed her to uh, live there for one night, because she couldn't bear her weeping. So let's move on to next stanza. Well, come in, she said at last, but tonight you will have to fast, for on no account may you bite him, as we are trained to do. We can drink and cause no pain, loss of royal sleep or stain. So the louse says that okay, you are allowed to spend one night, today one night only, tonight only, and for tonight you have to observe the fast, because because you are not allowed to sting the king, to drink his blood, because we are trained to bite him. You are not trained, and you will put us all, our family, into risk. So we can drink and cause no pain, because we drink the blood, we nip and sip the blood, and we don't we don't cause any pain to the king while he's in fast sleep. So, and we also don't leave any stain. So you are not allowed to bite the king. So you, I fear, would cause all three. I can't risk my family. So I'm sure that you will cause all the three things, and you will risk our family. But the glib mosquito cried, Now you have let me come inside. Lady Louse, how can you be cold in hospitality? So the mosquito says that, since you have allowed me to come in and stay one night, how can you be uh, how can you be so cold in hospitality? You are very nice. So let me bite once only, just one bite. I ask no more. I have learned from learned lore that the royal blood contains remedies for aches and pains. Ginger, honey, sugar, spice, cardamom, and all things nice. Save me, I'm in broken health. Let me bite him once by stealth. He won't even shift or sigh. Cross my heart and hope to die. Mosquito said that royal blood contained ingredients that were remedies for aches and pains. He pleaded with Creep to let him bite the king only once, and with the greatest care, so as not to wake him up, to mend his broken health. So he says that he has heard from so many people, and he says that he has a traditional belief that the blood of the king is eh, it has so many remedies for aches and pains. There are so many uh, things. There are so many things which are which are there in king's blood, like ginger, honey, sugar, spice, and cardamom. So it's very healthy. So he says that let me bite it once only. Now let's move on to the next stanza. Finally, the louse agreed. Right, she said, but pay close heed. Wait till wine, fatigue, or deep dream enriched unbroken sleep has enveloped him. Then go, lightly nip his little toe. Yes, 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 that's all, old hat, said Sir Leap. I know all that. Keep your stale advice, he smiled. Seriously, I am not a child. So Creep warned the mosquito that he should wait till wine and fatigue had put the king to deep sleep, and then he could lightly nip the king's little toe. But the king brushed aside the warning as stale advice, saying that it was old hat, old-fashioned, and he really wasn't a child to be told all that. Now let us read the next stanza. It was only afternoon, fairly early, fairly soon, when the king came to a snooze, doffed with crown and shirt and shoes, lay down on the bed and sighed. The mosquito almost died from excitement, shock, and sweat. No, the louse cried. No, not yet. But too late. The self-willed blumber. Oh, if only he had been humbler. Rushing to the rash attack, leapt upon the royal back, and with fierce and fiery string, deeply dug the dozing king. So as soon as the king lay down, as soon it was only afternoon when the king came this time very early, and he just had come to take a little rest, and he just took off his crown and shirt and shoes, and as soon as the king lay down on the bed, the mosquito, greatly excited at the prospect of biting the king, did not listen to the requests made by the warnings made by the louse, and stung the king on his back. In spite of the clear warnings made by Creep that mosquito, who was determined to do things without listening to others, was a clumsy person. He was a blumber, a clumsy person who often makes mistakes. And if he had a soft heart and had not rushed to rash attack and had not leapt upon the royal back and had not stung the king, it would have been better. Let's read the next stanza now. Help, a scorpion, a snake, screamed the king, at once awake. I have been bitten. Search the bed, find and strike the creature dead. When they made a close inspection, the mosquito foiled detection. Hidden in the canopy, but the louse clan could not flee. All were killed without a doe. Meanwhile, the mosquito flew, looking out for further prey. humming mildly on his way. So sharp was the sting that the king woke up at once, screaming and shouting that he had been bitten by a scorpion or a snake. He ordered the bed to be searched, and whatever it was that had stung him to be killed at once. Following this, the bed was thoroughly inspected. The mosquito, hidden in the canopy, remained undetected, but the louse family was found out and was killed. So, the moral of the story is that kindness should go hand in hand with caution and practical sense. It is good to extend a helping hand to others, but not at the risk of causing great damage to one's own interests. Thanks.